Time now to get an update on the day's latest business news. Kate Moody is here. Hi there, Kate.
Hi, Laura.
We'll start with Europe's biggest infrastructure project. It is back on track after the British Prime Minister threw his weight behind it.
Absolutely. The HS2 line is set to link London to cities in central and northern England, cutting travel times in half. Work is now slated to begin in April after Boris Johnson's cabinet gave the green light. But the project has proved hugely controversial. Its budget has already doubled, and environmental groups worry that wildlife and woodlands will be destroyed. Alison Sargent reports.
Prime Minister.
Thank you.
It's full speed ahead for the UK's high-speed rail.
The Cabinet has given high-speed rail the green signal. As everybody knows, the costs forecasts have exploded. But poor management to date has not detracted, in my view, from the fundamental value of the project.
Approved in 2012 under Prime Minister David Cameron, the high-speed rail scheme known as HS2 isn't set to be completed until as late as 2040. It would first connect London to Birmingham in central England before splitting in two and heading to Manchester in the west and Leeds in the east. The project is meant to bring the UK's old and crowded rail network to the level of countries like France and Spain. But predicted costs have nearly doubled to £106 billion, or over 125 billion euros. Boosting infrastructure spending in the north of England was one of Johnson's campaign promises. But Conservative lawmakers are worried about spiraling costs and the impact on constituencies cut through by the route, making HS2 a rare source of division for the ruling party.
Can I urge my right honourable friend, and indeed anybody that seeks to celebrate the HS2 decision, to keep central in their mind the blight that it will bring to communities up and down the route, not just on the landscape, but people's lives.
The project is also opposed by environmental activists who say the route would cut through over 100 ancient woodlands, resulting in the largest single act of deforestation in Britain since World War I.
The British economy stalled in the last 3 months of last year as Brexit uncertainty weighed on businesses. The Office for National Statistics registered zero growth for the fourth quarter, bringing overall GDP expansion for 2019 to a slightly better than expected 1.4%. Manufacturing contracted for the third quarter in a row, with the car industry among the hardest hit. The services sector, which accounts for about 3/4 of the economy, grew just 0.1%. But analysts say initial figures show a slight uptick for the beginning of 2020, with consumer confidence on the rise. Meanwhile, European officials have set a hard line ahead of trade talks, suggesting they won't automatically grant an equivalence deal to British financial firms. The British government is seeking stable access to the European market after the Brexit transition period expires at the end of the year, still while saying it's unwilling to accept the EU rulebook. Top negotiator Michel Barnier told the European Parliament on Tuesday that his counterparts should not kid themselves.
Brexit cannot be business as usual. Brexit means that British financial services are losing their financial passports. There is no mutual recognition. Brexit means that in all circumstances, we will impose controls on all goods entering the single market from the 1st of January, as we do with all third countries all over the world.
Let's check in on the day's trading action. Now, the major European indices closed higher. The DAX gained nearly 1%, the CAC 40 about 2/3 here in Paris. The travel sector led gains, up nearly 2% across Europe. We're seeing a more muted session for Wall Street, the Dow Jones turning slightly downwards. Shares of sports company Under Armour have plunged 18% as it warned that its sales could drop by as much as $60 million because of the coronavirus outbreak. A judge in New York has approved the $59 billion mega merger of mobile operators Sprint and T-Mobile. The announcement sent their shares soaring, Sprint up an eye-watering 72%, 75 this hour actually as we approach the end of trade. T-Mobile's up about 11.5%. The deal was first announced nearly 2 years ago, but it has been opposed by states, including New York and California, who argued it would result in higher prices and poor service for consumers. The U.S. Justice Department has already given the go-ahead. The takeover could now close as early as April. The head of the U.S. Federal Reserve says he's monitoring the spread of the coronavirus and the threat it could pose to the global economy. Many businesses across China have shut operations due to the virus, including those run by French expats. Yuka Royer has the story.
Wuhan, the capital of the Chinese auto industry. All French car makers have factories here, all shut down at the moment because of the coronavirus. Jackie Hambol is one of the few French citizens still in the city. He runs a car parts company, but has been working from home for 3 weeks now.
We received automated text messages saying we have to keep staying at home.
The epidemic and quarantine measures have disrupted the supply chain, affecting companies like his that employs 40 people.
The fact that the city is under lockdown means we can't send any products nor receive any parts from our suppliers. So if one component is missing for a car, the whole production line stops.
Far from the epicenter, diners and shoppers in Beijing have also hit the brakes.
I haven't seen anyone since the 23rd of January.
This bakery cafe, one of 15 in China owned by Benjamin DeVos, has not only fewer customers but also employees because of a new law banning employers from forcing staff to come to work.
More than half my staff are off, but I still have to pay them.
Revenue has dropped 80% since the outbreak.
I'm still optimistic. I hope that the crisis will be resolved and we will be able to get our business going again, maybe with a little help from the Beijing government.
Others are more worried, like Marianne Daquet, who runs 3 art schools. All of the classes have been cancelled, with no indication as to when they can resume.
And of course, Laura, as that virus continues to threaten more and more people, the economic impact is going to be more severe as well.
Absolutely. Kate, thank you very much indeed. We're going to take a short break. Don't go away.